All right, Paul, thanks for sending in your swings. Appreciate your patience, man. It's been pretty crazy lately. So what I want to do is just get started by saying that, definitely see some improvements and things are going in the right direction. That being said, there's always things we can work on. So I'm going to get right into it. We're going to do, a quick run through, and then we're going to, talk about how we're going to go about this. So one of the things right off the bat, I just want you to confirm that your weight pressure is not too far back in the heels here, okay? I can't tell for sure. Your posture looks great, but just staying in that same posture, we can rock to our toes or we can rock to our heels. You can feel the pressure move, so make sure it's kind of right over the shoelace to the front of the shoelaces there, okay? But otherwise, posture looks great down the line. So I love that. Let's just stay how we are there. Okay, now your pelvis is pretty centered. The belt buckle's pretty much between your ankles. Your feet are flared out just like I like. You have a lot of tilt though. Okay, so you've got tilt that looks like a long drive guy. So ton of tilt there. So you're doing it as a compensation because you tend to get a little bit steep, okay? So you tend to be a little bit across, so you're doing everything you can to stay from the inside and help yourself hit from the inside. So I understand the compensation. The problem is when we get this much tilt, we have issues with what you said is hanging back on that back leg sometimes, because that can happen pretty easily when we are in a situation where, we've got too much of that tilt or that pressure on our back foot, okay? When we get that pressure, we don't really have that kind of 60-40 or even 50-50. You're going to tend to have more on the back foot, okay? So just wanted to mention that. I understand the compensation, but at the same time, it causes some issues, okay? So that all being said, let's take a look at your actual swing here now. I'm using this different software this time for the lesson. It works just as well. The problem with the other one is they need to make an update because it is locking up. And I did your lesson once already and it locked up. So I'm going to use this one to ensure that we get it done for you. So let's look at your actual swing here now. Okay, so immediately you come up out of that front bend, okay? So you go this way immediately. So the butt sucks under and the head pulls off. And that really levels off our shoulders too much. They get really flat looking. And this club is going to want to whip under and inside like it does. See that? Okay. The face is better by far than before. So, but we got to work on staying in our posture better. Because when you do this, you're not going to get into that right heel as well as we would. And more importantly, you're standing straight up, okay? So, problem is we come out of our posture, we lose our lines here. You can see that in both cases. So we get very vertical with our posture. Now the problem is we don't have any room for our arms to get back down in front of us. You're pretty much standing straight up and down. So what you're going to do is work your hands way out and the club way out, and you can see it. So you're just trying to create room because you have none. So those hands go way out away from your body. That would normally cause a shank, but you've adjusted for it by addressing it way out on the toe there, okay? So you've just made an adjustment, which is smart so that you don't shank it, but we'd like to fix the real problem. Okay, so let's take that from here. You can see that raising up of the head early, and that's just you coming up out of that posture, okay? And then you pretty much stay on that line, which is good. So your pelvis stays fairly centered. I wouldn't mind seeing it a little more that way, and I'll explain that a little more because that makes you want to push just a little. All that is acceptable, though. All of it's acceptable. I mean, yeah, we could rotate more. Yeah, we could do certain things more. But, rather than give you a million thoughts and feels and ideas at once, I'm going to focus specifically more on the real meat of the issue here, which is, what you were saying is that your misses are low pull hooks, okay? So what that tends to mean is that, first off, you didn't specify whether, well, you did actually, because it's a pull hook. So it's starting left and hooking. So let's think about what that means. Our swing path could be pretty neutral, and the face could be shut. So if we had like a zero path and a face that was -4, that's going to be a pull hook. Well, actually, sorry, not a face that's zero, but a face, I had that correct. Sorry. It's been a long day. So if we have a path that is 0 and a face that's -4, that would be a pull hook. Absolutely. Okay, so something like that could be going on. And that's what it looks like. Your path looks like it's a touch across at the bottom here, but you've managed to shallow it with some compensation. So I'd say you're fairly neutral, but your face is getting shut. Now, why does the face get shut? Because let's talk about this miss specifically, because that's what's driving you crazy. Well, the face gets shut because our club face may be closer to where we want it, but now we're not rotating, we're still throwing at the impact. So I'm going to explain that further in a video that I make for you in the backyard. Okay, so, excuse me. So we'll talk about this a little more. We're going to really focus on getting you to maintain your spine angle better, okay? That's going to help us get a little more depth back here, which is going to help us swing more in to out, and we're going to have angles that allow us to do so, okay? We definitely want to create some room here so you don't feel like you have to do that, okay? So here's where the face is shutting down. Your chest is very much back here still, and your hips are at the ball, okay? We want those hips open about 45, and your chest should be open about 25 at least here, and yours is closed out about 10. So it's very under-rotated, therefore your arms just straighten and throw, okay? So the question is, why do they throw? Well, obviously, one of the big reasons is we come up out of our posture. So when we get taller like you do, if you watch your head, it's well above the start line, and then it goes down because you're trying to shallow late. Down and drops back. So when this head's down and back like this through impact, and you're throwing the club at it or throwing your arms, that's going to almost always cause the face to close. If the face closes, you're absolutely going to have that thing be a pull hook in your matchup, okay? So, with regards to why this happens, we stand up and then we're steep, so we have to compensate late, and with the head backing up and our butt sucked under us like it has this way, we're now a little bit taller. We're getting further from the ball, even though the hands are closer. This arm is very straight at impact because we're not quite there and it's already straight, and you can see how quick it throws. So see how quick that face closes? That's going to cause the issue because your head's back and the face is being thrown through impact. So that's what's causing this pull hook, 100%. So what I want to do is focus on getting you to a better impact, but you have to have a better backswing in order to get to a better impact. So that's going to be the focus of this specific lesson. What I want you to do is we're going to start, you can see how this right hand is overtaking the left very early, right there. That's closing that face down very quickly, okay? And you'll see those arms pull across you right there, okay? See, that hip and chest aren't rotated enough. So I'm going to specifically make some specific videos with regards to, I know you said you wanted a couple drills to work on. I'm going to give you a couple, okay? I really want you to work on rotation, causing your hands to work this way a little more. Because what happens is you're steep early, so you compensate, and they're going way out and away from you. So like, out of all the people I've helped in a long time, your hand passed more out than anyone I know, okay? And the reason for it is because of this initial move where you were steep. So everything had to compensate from there. See, you were way out and steep, and you'd be in huge trouble if you didn't do what you do, which is drop back and down, and that's how you shallow late. Okay, so it's all a reaction to things that happened earlier in your swing. So I want to get you to the top in a better spot with a better turn, because we could keep these hips a little more under us and get a little more shoulder turn as a result of freeing that up just a little, okay? But more importantly, staying in our angles. That's the big key, okay? So we're going to stay in our angles, and then we're going to be able to rotate better into impact. Now, with regards to the face, it's still a little bit up, a little bit vertical, but you stood up out of posture, so that's part of the reason of that. So it's definitely better than it was before. Your wrist angle is much better here, okay? So I don't believe you're throwing as a result of face currently. I think you're throwing because you have to, because you stand up so much. And you've also, by standing up, you've taken away all your angles, so you have to throw into impact, okay? So I want you to send me a couple follow-ups of you doing these drills, because I want to make sure we get these correct for you, because I'm proud of you for sticking with one thing, and I want you to stick with it, because 100% I know I can help you. And I know this is going to create a lot more fun out on the golf course for you, okay? So stick with it, and let's get some follow-up videos sent to me, and we'll keep grinding on this and get you going in the right direction, Paul, okay? Thanks again for your patience.